When I started my preliminary task, I knew some of the basic codes and conventions of a media magazine, as I did something similar at GCSE level. However, I have learned a better understanding of the codes and conventions of what a music magazine entails. Looking at my preliminary magazine, I have seen how my skills have progressed, and I have become more comfortable and confident with what I'm doing. The more I used Adobe Photoshop and Adobe InDesign, the better my skills became, and also I remembered more specific tools and what to use. For Photoshop, I would look on the internet at a certain tutorial to help me make certain aspects of my magazine, like titles and edit photos. Looking at tutorials made it easier to know what to do when it came to editing techniques. So then I became more comfortable on Photoshop and could do editing without looking at tutorials. I became more confident in my design and making it look professional as I went on. I would persevere so that if I didn't like something the first time around, I had the confidence and the ability to go back and do it a different way and use different tools. This was the case in my double page spread when I wanted to add some special effects, and I liked to try different brushes and then transfer certain things onto Adobe InDesign. Because I did media at GCSE, I could use basic tools like text and brushes. However, I learnt to change the text so it was closer together and some of the letters were bigger than others. On my preliminary pieces, there are hardly any of the major conventions of music magazines such as cell lines, main cover lines, plugs, barcode, etc. As with both my contents page and front cover, there are hardly any content on the page, which I have changed drastically on my final piece. There is considerable difference with the professionalism of how they both look. I think that the certain audience aspects of my indie magazine shine through much more than my preliminary magazine, as I could develop my audience with Slayer. I had an imaginary entity and so I aimed this at her, whereas my preliminary task was a basic college magazine that didn't really have a specific audience apart from the general term of college students. If I could do all this again, there aren't many things I would change because I'm happy with my finished product and happy with how my skills have developed. However, my music magazine genre was indie, which is a genre I am familiar with and know a lot about, so it's easier for me to do. If I was to do it all over again, I would probably do a genre that challenged me, such as country or punk. Or I could change it so that it was to a more niche market or local audience, as I could interpret different aspects and different designs into it. If I targeted it at an audience I wasn't familiar with, I would have to do more research into it to make sure that it was professional and aimed at the audience well. With Slayer, I didn't have to do much research as I was familiar with the genre, as I myself am an indie fan and read indie magazines, so I was basically aiming the magazine at myself. I think that if I challenged myself, then I could have strived to a greater goal. Although I am happy with my finished pieces, it has been a progressive journey.